Way we're live, hopefully. I mean, people should tell us if you're not. Hello and welcome everybody to this. I'm gonna quote like what just Ramon just said in our private chat, like in our chaotic and fun exploration of like WebAssembly extensibility of Matrix using Rust and WebAssembly, like basically all the buzzwords, and so welcoming first and foremost Benjamin, who is the hero of the day, who has created the Trinity project, which I'm going to be exploring today. He hopefully he knows how it works, and like Ramon, who is a colleague of mine at Suborbital, and who is going to also help us make this stream go smoothly. Sorry for starting a bit late. Benjamin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, hello everyone. So I'm Benjamin Bouvier. I'm an engineer at Embark Studios, a Swedish video game studio, where we like work on different projects, including some related to actually Rust and WebAssembly. Before that, I've been here at Mozilla, where I've actually worked on the implementation and standardization process of WebAssembly a bit. And so I'm just excited about WebAssembly as a way to have plugins written in any language and like all the good features of WebAssembly, etc., all of that. And yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming. And like, yeah, definitely. I'm a bit fangirling here, because Benjamin is also like one of the people behind a Wasm Time, one of the, I might be biased here, but like one of the coolest like WebAssembly runtimes out there, and also something's called Crane Lift that is at the heart of like Wasm Time's current implementation, like what makes it tick. So
Yeah, exactly.
and that tool and something that we also use at Suborbital. So we're super excited about like a lot of that stuff. So not only he like worked on WebAssembly like as the abstract technology, but also in the nitty gritty and like some of the open source tooling that you all might be using today. Ramon, would you like to like quickly introduce yourself? Maybe like you could also. I guess we should say something about Suborbital, get that out of the way before we dive into like matrixing.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. My name's Ramon. I'm a developer advocate at Suborbital. I'm doing my best to help spread the word on application extensibility. And Flocky, I'll let you take it from here in terms of giving that pitch to to Suborbital. I will go and make sure everything's running smoothly in the background. So if y'all meet me, give me a shout, and I'll see you in a bit.
Thank you so much.
Have fun.
Yeah, Suborbital, the website is suborbital.dev. Like Roman can throw that into the chat. Is a company that does WebAssembly extensibility, and like, what is that? Like, we actually don't have to explain really for Suborbital because you're going to be seeing it like live as one of the. I mean, there are multiple things why I really like Benjamin's like Trinity projects. Like as a big proponent of matrix and federated technologies, like all of that, and like maybe I had like a tiny flicker of like uh to do with like how do you call that, like what is the word that you use for it when you make somebody like do something like a side project? Nerd sniping.
Nerd snipe. Yeah.
Nerd snipe may have nerd sniped like a tiny bit like him into this idea like a couple years ago when we were just like thinking about it, but also because it very much aligns some of the things that we do at Suborbital and some of the things that we think that WebAssembly is underrated for, which is giving the power to people to put third-party code into your own software. So like if you're a software company, you want people to be able to extend your software. I have a colleague of mine who also happens to be ex-Mozilla, who I believe mentioned said that it is third-party code injection as a service or like something like that. It's like usually you really don't want like third-party code to be in your program, and WebAssembly makes that like possible, almost easy to have third-party code operating inside your own infrastructure. And so that's in a nutshell what Suborbital does, and that's also one of the reasons that like Trinity makes a lot of sense on this stream, because it has the same idea of like being able to run WebAssembly code in like something like a chat client to like extend a chat client with like extra functionality. So I don't know, maybe like Benjamin, like would you like to just like tell a bit,
Oh yeah.
to kick us out, like what Trinity is?
Yeah, sure. So there are actually like a few components to the equation. So maybe I can explain briefly what matrix is in the first place. So it is basically a new standard for protocol, new standard / protocol for chatting live, like having some kind of messaging system, live messaging system. But it is so much more than that. And it also, so it is decentralized and federated, which means that you don't have a single company or entity that is controlling all the servers, as is the case, for instance, for WhatsApp, that is controlled by Facebook at the moment. So it's basically possible to set up your own server and like to have your own chat service for yourself, and you can integrate with the rest of the other people who are using Matrix as well. So that's really exciting. And something that is similar and that has gained in popularity in the recent weeks is Mastodon, where you don't similarly have like a single place to send statuses like on Twitter, but basically you have your own instance, and then you can like use it for interacting with the rest of the universe, and they call it Fediverse because it's federated universe. Yeah, so it's basically the same idea. And what excited me a lot back in the days with respect to Matrix is, well, new protocol that tries to make things good. So obligatory reference to that XKCD comic where they say, well, all the protocols are broken. We need to make, like, there are 19 existing protocols and they're all broken. We just need to make one that is better and unify them all, right? And that's how you get a 20th protocol existing, right? But I think they did it quite well, actually, and they did a good. They implemented a great idea to have bridges between the different messaging platforms. So it's basically possible to use Matrix to send messages to your Telegram friends, or for instance, your WhatsApp friends as well, because there is extra software that you can enable that allows you to do that. And that's pretty exciting. It really means that you can use a single application to actually interact with all of your friends at the same time. So I like that a lot. And of course, it's all open source, and they're doing some brilliant lobbying in the EU to have more interoperability. Between the different like messaging apps and all of that. So it's quite exciting. And so that's one part of the equation. And then bots, what do they serve? What can they do? So basically, I like it when you have the possibility to have automated systems that are directly in your chat, because you don't have to context switch between the chat application and some other service or whatever. So it's actually kind of nice to have your own AI assistant in some form. Like, doesn't have to be like hard AI with like neural networks or anything. Very simple task that you can automate easily and do from the chat system. I like that a lot. And so I actually implemented a system that does that. It's called Trinity because it's using the holy trinity of all the technologies I love. Matrix on the one side, the implementation is in Rust for the bot system itself. And then you can actually implement commands or modules, bot modules, in WebAssembly. So what does it mean? Basically means that it is a pluggable system where you can just have the bot running first, and then you can plug in new modules at runtime, and it will detect them at runtime. So it's actually pretty nice to iterate when you're hacking on a new module. So let's make it very concrete. Say you want a command that will generate a new unique identifier for yourself. So you can create a new module that will just be a listener on existing messages, and whenever it sees the thing that will trigger the command, it will generate a unique ID and return that as a message, for instance. And that's like the very basic thing it can do. But imagine you can have lots of small modules that can handle that for lots of different small tasks like that. So I made a few. Some of them are just there for humoristic purposes, and that was like for demo purposes as well. But basically, there is one that is, oh, you found them. So there is one that will find quotes from the Host.js Twitter account, which I kind of liked at some point, and will like fetch them using an HTTP request and return that just as a message, so that you can see it in the in the chatting system in your matrix room directly. So yeah, do you want to look at the code, Flaky?
Yeah, we should totally dive in and try to get some of this working. Like, caveat again, like I keep saying this. I'm one of those folks who, like, I'm one of the organizers of RustFest, like Europe's first, I guess it's first Rust conference. And I've been dabbling in Rust for a long time, but like it's been a running joke in the organization that like Flucky is the only person like who's actually not doing any Rust. And I always like lamenting, I wish I could, but like there's so little time and so many things to do in the universe. Also, it was really cool that you mentioned that like this lets you like do your own kind of AI or like your own kind of customizations. Because just like a couple days ago, was it yesterday? On Mastodon on the aforementioned Fediverse, I was talking to somebody and like was saying that I actually want, like we keep complaining about like Twitter having an algorithm, like all these like software, like having an algorithm, and that's bad. I was like, no, having an algorithm is not bad. The problem with that algorithm is it's like opaque, and I have no control over it. Like Twitter will suggest whatever tweets brings them the most engagement or the most ad revenue or whatever, and not like what is. I keep complaining about how browsers used to be the user agent. Like as somebody who worked at Mozilla, I'm sure like Benjamin, like pretty much everybody kind of has this lament where the browser is literally called the user agent. The browser is supposed to be helping you, navigate the internet, and like these platforms, like especially like social media platforms, but a lot of these like lockdown silos stop being user agents in terms of, they stopped serving you, but like started like, like they have like their own agenda. And so like when I do things, like I want them to have an algorithm. I want them to have like a little robot helper friends, but I want to be able to like define what these robot helper friends do. I want to make sure that these robot helper friends actually helping me and not just like some Western company like get like shareholders, increase shareholder value. And I want to be able to customize it and see what the things that it does, why it does it, like customize that sort of thing. So I think that's really cool that you mentioned that. And WebAssembly and like some of these technologies are actually, or the Fediverse are making that possible for us as well.
And yeah, what you were saying like makes me think that the difference between like, for instance, Twitter and Mastodon is that Mastodon is open source. If you don't like the way it works, you can still like make a fork, make changes to the code, and theoretically make a different instance of something that is also on the Fediverse and will also federate with all the other Mastodon servers, despite
Exactly.
it not being a Mastodon. And that actually happened in the past. Like people made a few forks. There is like glitch.social, I think, which is a famous fork of Mastodon with more functionality like that. So like yeah, the fact that the code is open source means also it's not quite owned. So it's the same with Trinity. If you want to make a new bot command, you don't have to ask me for the permission. You can just do it and run it, and it will just work.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and like absolutely, this is why I love Mastodon. Like and like in the past, I actually wanted to do customizations for Twitter, except like Twitter would not give me like an API key and like whatever. Like and I understand that they can't because they have like a huge bot problem, and like them giving just willy-nilly API keys to anybody was basically what led to a lot of disinformation campaign, and like like it is problematic when you're that. But with Mastodon, yeah, you can just fork it, or you can just use your own apps or APIs or bots. And like not all bots have to be, like outside facing. Like you can totally build bots that like nobody else cares about. Like you're the only person using them. And like I believe Matrix, which is a lot of the times is like more like a certain room or a certain community wants to do something. It's even more like specific that you want to customize the functionality and you want to tailor that functionality to yourself. So yeah, that's really cool. All right, so we have a code sandbox instance here that we are going to be using, trying to set up Trinity. So I'm gonna ask you, Benjamin, to help guide me. But I guess like I'm probably gonna need. So this is basically an empty. Uh, Let me pin this tab so I don't lose it. So this is basically like a cloud Linux instance, but I'm gonna need cargo or something like that. So I guess the first
Probably,
thing
yeah.
I need to do is install Rust, right?
Oh yes. Strong yes. Yes. There are a few like build time dependencies that you're going to use. So Rust on the one hand. So there is a Rust up script that is actually fantastic because it will like set up all the important things for you.
Cool.
And I think they have a one-liner to like
Yeah.
download it. And
Yeah, on the Rust website, like that should get us there.
Exactly. Yeah.
So hopefully, just go and download. Yep, Rust up is there. Default host. I guess we're going to need the WASI targets.
Oh, you don't have
Like,
to worry about it right now. I
okay,
think the other tool that is used to actually build the components is taking care of installing the
cool.
WASI targets if you don't have it.
So I just can get like a default Rust setup.
Yep. So for people who would not know about Rust, Cargo is like the package manager and much more than that in Rust. It's actually a tool that you can use to run other subcommands, run tests, or generate your documentation, and do all fancy things that you would expect. So it's really a all-in-one tool that is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people, Rust being the most loved language, and like a lot of that actually comes from not just the language itself, but a lot of the tooling that is built around it, and particularly WebAssembly. We are lucky. Like I thought Trinity was just a reference to Matrix, and then I read the README, and like I get it. I get it why Benjamin like thinks of WebAssembly and Rust, like and Matrix making this like holy trinity, because like WebAssembly and Rust particularly are well suited to each other. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so now we have cargo, Rusty and cargo installed. How should I? Is this on the? Yeah.
So I guess you can probably clone the code of Trinity. It's like I haven't published it on
Oh.
rails.io, which is like the equivalent of
Okay. So I do
npm.js.
need the. Oh, I should know. Then I could have forked this into, but that's fine. So not modules, but here, code, and I can just. I need HTTPS because I don't have SSH keys here, probably. Cool. I'm just gonna close this. We don't need the Rust anymore. Just keep getting lost in tabs. So, oh wait, I should probably. Oh no, where am I? Oh, I'm in the root. No, that's fine. Whatever. Git clone Trinity. Okay,
That was fast.
great. One of the good parts of like running in a cloud-based VM is like the cloud is close to you, right? You're not that far
Exactly,
away
yeah.
from
All the
cloud.
time,
You are
wherever
like
you
a
are.
gigabit like 100 gigabit like internet link like close to like some backbone. Okay. What now?
So yeah, so basically there are two layers. First, we have the bot code itself that we are building with Rust, and that is
Mm-hmm.
native. And then
Mm-hmm.
we have the modules that we need to compile separately,
Mm-hmm.
because they are compiled to WebAssembly. So the first software is built natively, and the modules are compiled to WebAssembly. And
So
well, as you can see already from here, like there is a modules directory, and these are all the Rust module because Rust is fantastic compared to WebAssembly. It has like the best support in class, I would say. But then it doesn't really, it doesn't have to be Rust. If you really want, you can use other tools. And there are other like experiments that I've made last week to actually use a module, a bot module written in C and another one written in Java. And the one in Java, I didn't make it work fully, but the C one actually did work. So you can, if you prefer like old style development, I would say, and have very much more control on the like all the pointers and all of that, you can definitely use C if you prefer that. So it was just like mostly for demo purposes, but I strongly believe in the ability of WebAssembly to be a universal target for all the languages. And in theory, in the future, you could easily choose a Go or even JavaScript and compile that to WebAssembly and then use that to write Trinity modules if you wanted to. So that really makes a WebAssembly a perfect use case for plugin systems, because plugin systems, you don't want to impose a specific programming language onto the people who are writing the plugins. People who are writing the plugins will tell you, I want to write it in my very esoteric language. Maybe I want to write it in white space lang. I don't know. And so as long as it can compile to WebAssembly, be my guest. Do whatever you want. Yeah.
yeah, no, people who might be unfamiliar with WebAssembly WebAssembly really doesn't know how to communicate outside of the WebAssembly module, outside of these like connection points, these functions that one passes into a WebAssembly module. This is very different from usually like compiling to any other like usual targets or usual computer architectures like in x86, where there is like some conventions around how to do certain things, how to communicate with the outside world. And basically what happens, and correct me if I'm wrong in here, is that Benjamin created an environment that has its own way to communicate, like its own exposed functionality to a WebAssembly module. So as long as you are compiling from a language that is able to basically communicate through this boundary according to what rules basically Benjamin set up for like communicating with the Trinity server that we are going to be building in a moment. Like you can just create like a WebAssembly module that does exactly that. Like it doesn't depend on the source language as far as like the source language and the tooling that you have for the source language is able to compile that WebAssembly module in a way that will be able to slot into this like API layer, or like I guess that's more like an ABI layer. Does that sound right, Benjamin?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. And I'm sorry I didn't explain WebAssembly a bit more. I guess it's both like a compile target, so the same way you can compile your code so that it actually runs on, well, your phone, for instance, or like your desktop machine. It's using like different CPUs and yeah, processors, and compile specifically for those processors. So people have been like, back in the days when they did Java, they were like, well, why can't we just compile once and run it everywhere? And WebAssembly is also like trying that approach. So instead of compiling directly to your like the CPU language, you compile to an intermediary binary format that is called WebAssembly, and that is very well specified. And then you have some kind of runtime, and that's why we talked about Wasm time before. That runtime will understand the WebAssembly code and translate that for to machine code on your behalf, and you don't have to worry about like compiling your software for every single architecture in the world. You can just compile it once, the WebAssembly, and then run it everywhere. So that's pretty sweet. So it's a binary target as well as a runtime environment. So basically, all the WebAssembly code is sandboxed, and that is very important in terms of security for a plugin system, because you don't want your plugin to be able to just access everything on your machine, right? You want it to have access to a very small set of APIs, and those APIs it will manipulate, and it's not allowed to manipulate anything else. So it cannot like just do random reads on your disk and try to steal your Bitcoin keys or whatever you have that is private and important to you. So that's pretty good for a plugin system.
Yeah, if people went to the WebAssembly website and they saw, it's a binary instruction format for a stack-based virtual machine, it's like, oh, okay, what does that mean? This is basically what it means. It's like you're targeting WebAssembly as if it was like another computer architecture, like x86 or ARM or similar like that. But it also gives you like this. This API layer that you're going to be interacting with as well. So yeah, let's dive in then. So I guess we need to cargo run this.
Yes, you can cargo compile it first. It requires a bit of configuration. So
okay.
We would need to have access to one matrix token, like API token, to be able to post with that account on behalf of Trinity.
Okay. Good point. I mean, I have a lot of those somewhere. I'm not sure which. Well, we should have a test API key somewhere.
I can also give you in private the one I've been using for testing.
I'm sorry?
I can also give you like privately the one I've been using for testing if you want.
Let me check. I do have some testing. Chat, Crystal Temple, Ferris. No, not that one. I don't know how you would give. I mean, I guess we can take us off the live stream, but I would rather not like compromise. Let me just.
So yeah, I guess you can take a look at the .env.example file.
Oh, okay.
And it will show you all the configuration that is
needed.
Okay.
So we should to .env and
exactly.
nano.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
let me
first we
see.
will need so we need the information in there.
Should have.
Oh, you don't need a token. You can use the user ID and password. I forgot I implemented that. Cool.
Oh wait. You know what? I mean, we can just register a new account. I mean, this is probably real bad. The good thing about Rush Chat is we actually own this. So if somebody watches the live stream and uses 1234 to like our temporary password to take over this account, we can just kick them off. So I'm just gonna create an account here and say Trinity. I mean, sure, use securely generated password. Thank you, Firefox. And I'm just gonna use this as Flocky plus Trinity global register. Okay. Sure, save it. Host account on. I'm not a robot. Some traffic lights.
I think you missed one. Oh, it was okay with that.
Oh no. What? Confirmation email has been sent. Let's hope that actually worked. Let me see. Rust chat. Validate your it's there. Rust. Validate your email. Yes. This is totally not an advertising for Rustfest, but maybe it is. Registration successful. Okay, so we should be able to use this then. Yeah. Home server. So that's gonna be Rust chat. And we're gonna use the user ID is going to be Trinity at Rust chat. The bot password is
Oh, you're going to give us the secret. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's fine. Like, if somebody uses this to, like, I know, spam the editors or take over and change the email address or something like that, you can just kick them off the account. Of course, after we finish with the stream, I'm gonna go back and change the password or something.
Yeah.
Matrix
So-
store path. I guess
Yeah,
we can
so
just leave these, right?
Exactly, yes. Probably want to change the admin user ID though to like
Cool.
something
Yeah.
like the user ID of someone who will actually
Can you add
interact
more
with the bot.
than one?
No, not yet.
Okay.
That would be
So I'm
sweet.
just gonna make this my account, and that should be it, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Cool. And I guess now cargo build.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I probably need to.
Oh, yeah, probably open a new terminal or maybe
Yeah.
rehash would be sufficient, I guess.
What is that?
Rehash. It's a Unix command that will reparse the profiles.
Rehash. Oh,
O
rehash.
N H. Yeah.
Oh.
And now maybe it will work. No, go. No. Oh, sorry.
Let me.
Yeah, at the end of the installation of with Rust up, it says, now you need to load this specific file if you want to have access to cargo right away and add this thing to your path. So that's probably what we need to do.
Oh yeah, I totally skipped that, didn't I? Cargo. Wait, was that? No. Located at Flocky Cargo home. Installing.
Oh yeah, source.
Get started.
Like the
cargo bin.
cargo info. But like,
oh wait, you can just source this, hopefully, right?
Yes. Nice.
That might work. There we go.
Sweet.
Yeah, so cargo build is, oh yeah, it's gonna download the crates IO index. It's kind of fascinating. Every single time I realize that the crates IO, which is the Rust package manager library of all the crates that ever created, is just a Git repository. And when you when you're using it, when you are creating a new like version of your like crate of your Rust package, like literally the only thing that happens is like, you know, a comment is made in crates.io, and like that's just such a fascinating like hack.
Yeah, you can actually use GitHub for
something.
like a backend service for anything. Kind of
Which is like a
fascinating,
really nice workaround, especially like after all the things that happened with like npm and whatever. Which npm and like the JavaScript ecosystem had like a huge impact on like the tooling ecosystem, like the easy how easy it was to use like JavaScript tools early in the days, like compared to like the status quo of like C and like like weird like stuff like that. Like Rust got inspired from that a lot, but like to this day, npm's monopoly is like a big sore point of the JavaScript community. So like sidestepping that like just like that is like a really cool hack. Okay. I
Exactly.
guess
Yeah.
we're gonna have a I paid for a bit beefier cloud VM, so anticipating that we are going to have to compile half of the crates IO ecosystem, but hopefully this
That
will
is
go.
correct. Yes. So I'm basically using like also the Matrix folks have started writing some software development toolkit in Rust directly. That's why I was excited to write my own project in Rust, in fact. And it just handles so much of the complexity of handling end-to-end encryption, which is like basically implemented in every private room in Matrix, which is awesome.
Mhm,
That means that
mhm.
the administrators of the server, they cannot like read your private messages because they don't have access to it. And the Matrix REST SDK will just take care of that for me, which is amazing. Like my bot can send private commands to people and have like handle their dirty little secrets. I don't know.
Wait,
And
are
no,
you
it's
saying you
really
didn't roll
nice.
your own crypto? How dare you?
Oh no, what kind of developer am I? Seriously.
I mean, this is also like I like there's this widespread thing like friends don't let friends write their own crypto, which is not exactly true. Like you should write your own crypto. You should just never use it, especially not in production, right? Like you should write your own
Wise
crypto
words.
and learn and like experiment and stuff. Just like not rely on it on anything that's like important or people use. Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe yeah, it should be rewarded in terms of you should write your own crypto just to realize how hard it is to
How
write your
hard
own
it
crypto
is.
and make it work and
I love it.
reliable and yeah. Hmm. That's a good point. Yeah, so it's basically downloading Matrix Rust SDK as well as Wasm time, which is the entire WebAssembly VM plus compiler. So basically, since we need to translate the WebAssembly binary format to machine code, we need to do that translation at some point, and that's what the Cranlift project does. And it's quite exciting.
Oh, I
Oh, we're
kind of heard
close.
about that project. Do you know anything about it that you could tell us?
Sure, yeah. So I was an active contributor years ago when I worked at Mozilla, basically. So it was intended to replace some components in Firefox first. Like Firefox also does compilation with the just-in-time compilation for JavaScript and all of that, and it also like compiles WebAssembly to machine code. And since there was like a very general, every new large refactoring should be rewritten in Rust policy at Mozilla, well, it was an obvious choice to decide to use Rust for like the rewrite of the low-level parts of code generation. That didn't pan out eventually, but at least the Cranleaf project started out of that. And we could also we also realized that WebAssembly had many more use cases than just the web. So we could use it in other places, and that's how the Wasm Time project started, basically as like a WebAssembly VM on top of Cranlift. And yeah, that's like now one of the most active WebAssembly VM runtimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. I didn't know like CraneLift. Firefox pulled out of like using CraneLift and SpiderMonkey or like their like just-in-time compilation pipeline. Is CraneLift used by anybody else like besides Wasm Time these days? Do you know?
That's a good question. So there is an experimental Rust compiler backend that is called CG_Cliff. And Cliff is really for Cranlift intermediary formats, I guess. And
Yeah.
that's basically make it so that you can use Cranlift to do the compilation, well, machine code generation step of Rust compilation. So basically, Rust keeps the same semantics still have to fight with the borrow checker in like very lovely one-to-one discussions with the borrow checker. But then
Oh
you
wait,
can also use it to compile Rust code, and it's actually very nice because in general Rust will use LLVM, which is like
oh yeah,
an amazing compilation framework
but
that
also
has like
a little bit
years and
hefty.
years of engineering behind, but it's also sometimes a bit slow because it's actually doing so many optimizations, doing so much stuff when it's compiling. So like if you don't care too much about the performance of the generated code, that is, your code doesn't have to be really fast at runtime, you can decide to use cranlift, for instance, as the backend for Rust and compile using cranlift. And cranlift does a pretty good job actually at generating a good code. It's not as fast as LLVM, but usually that's fine. Like you don't, in some use cases, you don't need to have the fastest thing ever in the world. So that's okay. It's really matter of trade-off.
No, this comes up with Suborbital a lot. Like, and this is something I talked to you, Benjamin, like a bunch. That I want to get our Javi integration working. Javi is what we use at Suborbital to compile JavaScript modules to run in WebAssembly. And a lot of people are like, "Why would you do that? Like, why would you like compile JavaScript to WebAssembly? That there's and like especially in the browser." There are very limited use cases when that makes sense. Figma being one, like plugins being one, third-party plugins. But like especially in the browser, that sounds like weird because you have already a fast like JavaScript engine. But for Suborbital, which talks about running WebAssembly modules in server side or like in applications, it actually makes a lot of sense. And for the reason that JavaScript may not be the fastest language, especially if after like having compiled the entire runtime into WebAssembly and running it inside WebAssembly. But like sometimes you don't need the fastest runtime. Sometimes you just need like a nicely sandboxed code running inside the same thing that you can write like Rust plugins for Suborbital. But like most people, we want to run JavaScript just for the reason is that that's the language they're familiar with. And if you already love Rust, like you can totally use Rust for all things. But you can't just ask people to like start like learn Rust if you want them to write anything. And like a lot of people are just going to be very fine with like writing like JavaScript that is going to be 10, 50, whatever percent like slower than like the equivalent like Rust code would have been. But like literally, if the only thing that your code does is some of the things that actually Trinity modules do, which is like ping a URL and like that sort of stuff. And then you really don't need like breakneck like speeds and performance. Yeah, I didn't know that Cranelift moved inside Wasm time. So Wasm time
yeah.
is the engine, the runtime itself, and like Cranelift used to be a separate project, but now it lives inside Wasm time. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that was mostly for logistics purpose. It's just so much simpler to have one place where you need, like, if you make a change in Cranlift API, you don't have to first modify the repository, then release a new version, then import that version in Wasm time. You can just do
Yeah.
it in one step.
No, makes sense. Yeah. It's mono repo stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, okay. So now we have I think my compilation finished. And so now we can
Yes.
start our server, right?
Yes, I think you
All
can
right.
do.
Start
So
the
I
run.
would suggest to also print the logs, and you can have more logs if you write Rust underscore log, capital, all capital.
Mm-hmm. Like as a environment variable.
Yes,
Okay.
equals Trinity, like the the project, equal trace.
Equal.
Yeah, again.
Okay.
And then cargo run. And you will see just the logs that are related to Trinity.
Yes.
If we didn't
And like
put
up
the
to the
Trinity
trace level,
equal,
which is like the highest debug level, I'm guessing.
exactly, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Oh, do okay.
Oh yeah, I didn't find any WASM modules
Oh,
in
and it
the
wasn't modules
module.
yet.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of makes sense. I didn't know it
Yeah.
would like stop the execution. That's probably bad, but we can do something about it. So can you move directly
That's
to
a
the
developer
modules?
experience, sort of like nice to have
Exactly,
that
yeah.
issue to file. Good for a good starting issue or something like that. Cool. Yeah.
That's a
So we
good
need
idea.
to get our and I saw that there's like live reload recompilation. That is really cool.
Oh yeah, and yeah, that one really makes the developer experience really nice because that means that you can
Definitely.
just cargo run here and then hack on your modules, sorry, in the background, and it will just hot reload, and you don't have to
Oh.
like reload all the things.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was trying to create a new terminal, but like that didn't work. Right? This one? Add DevTools? No. Open VS Code? No. Branch? Sure. How do I open a new terminal? Can I not? No, I'm pretty sure it could. That just opens in a new tab, which is this. Which is cool, but also not what I need. Oh wait, here? No. Open in VS Code. And starting to think maybe we lost some buttons here because of like, oh no, wait, here. Create branch, open GitHub. Never mind, doesn't matter. Expand, close, and stop. I guess it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure there was a way to create a new terminal, but like, it should be fine.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, how should we do that?
So you would change directory to modules first,
Mm-hmm.
and then we are going to use a subcommand of cargo that is called cargo component. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
afraid it's going to be downloaded and compiled as well. It's not available by default, so you have to install it. And the cargo component GitHub repository will show you how to do that. And
Oh,
also
cool.
send the command by the chat.
Come on. Oh, that's a Bytecode Alliance project. Do you want to
Yes. Oh
talk a
yeah,
bit
I
about
can
Bytecode Alliance?
exactly. Yeah. So Bytecode Alliance is basically a foundation grouping different entities and corporations that want to make WebAssembly secure by default and have the ability to have lots of different components interacting together. But it's really more like vocational and like trying to make WebAssembly really good, really fast, and have fantastic security for all the use case of the different companies involved. Yeah.
Ah, there we
So
go.
Mozilla funded it back in the days, and then like many big entities joined it since then. I think now there is also Fastly, who is a CDN company, and they're actually employing most of the WebAssembly Wasm time maintainers these days. And they're also providing the ability to write your like some WebAssembly modules to run your code on the edge. So you don't need a server anymore. You can just have your Rust code, you compile it to Wasm, and then you can push it to some server, and like some server will run that for you. Kind of a serverless
Cool.
experience. And I'm probably not describing it well because I haven't tried the product, so don't quote me on that. So
And
there's
there's
Fastly.
increasingly multiple companies experimenting with cloud-based WebAssembly, and Suborbital being just one of them. But I also know Embark is also a Bytecode Alliance
Oh yeah,
member. Do you
yes.
have anything that you can already share about some of the WebAssembly things that you all work on? Like, I guess
What I
that
can
might be
share is
interesting.
that we're using WebAssembly plugins to write gameplay behavior components that are plugged in at runtime, also in our like experimental game engine that we're working on. And that is mostly the extent of all I can say,
Cool.
because
Yeah.
all that information is public. So you
Yeah.
can find a few like a bit more information about the project if you look up in a search engine Embark Studios creative platform, I think. And you're going to find a few Medium blog posts that talk about it a bit more, likely.
Or you can just follow Benjamin. So when they can actually say
Yeah.
something about it.
We're going to have
Yeah.
some exciting news at some point about the project, but right now I cannot really
Yeah.
talk a lot. Yeah.
That's not that. That's also not that.
Oh, this
Create a
one,
play.
for instance. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's like some screenshots from within the game itself that you can see on this page. We are basically, running a small, like, very early
Oh, wait, is this the
kind of
same
playtest.
that uses like voice, like speech generation and stuff like that when characters react to their I think I saw like a talk about like characters reacting to their surroundings and stuff, like, and using like procedurally generating like, you know, those reactions in texts, like, well, like stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. So this project is like doing lots of
Like
breakthroughs in
experimenting.
many different areas, and
Mm-hmm.
especially like using lots of machine learning, so you can have
Yes,
creatures
for
that
sure.
actually look at your environment and can then react automatically, express emotions, etc., etc. It's
Yeah,
pretty sweet.
super cool. Yeah, really exciting stuff. So be sure to check that out. I posted the link. Yeah, but like, okay, so I have cargo component. Like, this is the installation from cargo component here for people who are following
Yeah.
along. So
And you can see it's very experimental because we're directly installing from the latest Git
yeah,
commit.
like just
So
the fire hose of
hopefully
the repo.
this will not break because things have been updated in the in the last few days. We'll see. I
Yeah,
think that should just work.
yeah, but like, so this is like directly related to the WebAssembly component model, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So
Sweet.
I would invite, if you're interested in the WebAssembly component model, to look at one presentation that Luke Wagner, who is one of the main authors of the WebAssembly specification, did a few weeks ago, I think now.
Mhm.
And you found it. The
Oh yeah, I
path
have
to
it. Have it
components,
on
it's
speed
called.
dial.
It's an amazing talk explaining
Really
like
good.
the future and the vision for WebAssembly components. Basically, you can imagine that instead of having all your, like, right now, the model when you're doing software development is that you import lots of libraries in your code, and if one of these libraries is broken, that means that your code will be broken as well, right? There is an exploit in one library that you're using. Well, that library, the exploit is also in your code. So your code can be exploited as well. And that means security issues will propagate from the libraries you're using to your software. And that's pretty bad. So the idea behind components, one of the ideas, is to make these more resilient by having the components in their own sandboxed worlds. And you can still discuss via API method calls with your components and call into functions provided by your components as if they were like just external libraries, but that are sandboxed, and maybe they don't have access to everything your software has access to.
Mhm.
So that greatly improves like the security of each of the individual components and overall of the entire software that you're building with them.
Yeah, as somebody like who has been following like WebAssembly and like the development like throughout, and like I remember like Ramon um and Alex yesterday well, I guess it's today in European time, talking about this. Like there was a WebAssembly North America meetup, and they were also talking about like the component model, and um and it was really funny. Alex said like at some point it's like, oh yeah, like I could talk about the component model for like about a couple days. So but like he mentioned that there were so many changes. Like their initial ideas like took like so many different shapes and forms until like the current understanding of what the web until what basically Luke presented here in this keynote, like to distill all of the ideas and all the research that they have done, like with all the experimental programming languages, and like how it is rooted in like the very internals of programming language. The research is really interesting and really cool. So if somebody is into that, like there's a lot of documentation of that on the WebAssembly GitHub repo, which has like all the meetings that happened and all the presentations, like the previous presentations, as like the WebAssembly like the component model like basically evolved to its current state, which is also really cool to see how it's like distilled down to this very like straightforward. I mean, like Luke is also very good at making it feel straightforward or like sound straightforward, but you're like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense, and like all the work on behind like figuring out and
It's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, really cool.
It's
Yeah, but like
basically
this has
like framing
sorry, no,
what
just
is
this has been
software
something
engineering.
that we
Yeah.
have all been waiting for in the WebAssembly ecosystem for a long time. Yeah, sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, I was saying this is basically framing what is software engineering and how you should think in terms of software engineering as well. Like it has lots of deep roots into software engineering research, I think. So it's can
Yeah.
feel that a lot of it have been thought through for a very long time, indeed.
Yeah, it's making using WebAssembly as an excuse to talk about like the musings of like programming languages.
Exactly.
Cool. So
Oh,
I think
so
we have
it's done.
sorry.
Yeah, I was saying it's ready now. So I
Yeah.
think you can run cargo space components space build space dash release, because by default it will only load release build wasm components.
Mm-hmm. Component. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay,
And you
cool. Oh
see
yeah,
it's
and now it
downloading
is
the wasm
downloading
policy.
the. Mm-hmm. So for anybody who's not familiar, Horse.js is this parody Twitter account that I think it's kind of still a mystery who actually operates the Twitter account. But what Horse.js does is it takes oh wait, maybe I should just use this. Makes it easier. What Horse.js does. Oh, I'm just trying to make this more legible in the stream. Okay, that should do. So it takes parts of like basically excerpts from existing tweets on like existing posts on Twitter, and by omitting some parts of the tweet, it usually like makes them like sound really funny, and like kind of like this parody account that has almost like a mythical creature on Twitter. So I'm guessing that we are pulling like some of the funny stuff of like Horse.js into this plugin.
Oh, better than that, there is actually a website that references all the codes, so you can like use an API and get a random code out of the website that way.
Oh, cool. Sweet. Is it like explain XKCD that it will show you, it will actually explain you why is it funny, or like where does it actually come from?
Nope.
No.
No, that's not that one. But we could change it so that it gets a different one, maybe. I don't know.
No, that's all right. Yeah, cool. So this is the default module, I'm guessing, that we already have in here. Oh no, oh wait, we
Yes.
have all of them.
So yeah, you can. So there are several directories.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, JS, Mastodon, Pants, Secret, and UUID are the modules, and then target is just where the WASM files are built.
Yes.
And the one that start with with dash are me implementing interfaces that are a bit slightly easier to use than the interfaces that are provided. So interfaces are basically the APIs that are offered to the WASM modules. So you can actually do things with those modules, like for instance, do an HTTP request, log something into the log of Trinity, or
So
like
does this
store
mean that if
something
you
in a
already
Kibana
have
store.
if you already have a module that supports bit bindings, like you can just drop it in there and it will just work? So like, for example, if it supports bit log bindings, it will just work?
Yeah, so I've implemented those as libraries. I haven't come yet to
actually,
implement them as components.
oh yeah, I get.
Which means that you import the library in your code, and then
Oh,
you
I
can use
see.
what is offered by the library.
I see. So if I'm writing like a new module, I could just import the vitlog library and use the logging facilities like from here.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
so Wasm will just like understand the stuff because it will just like hook into the WASI like logging facilities.
Yes. So it's not using WASI, it's only using like APIs that I've implemented myself. I
Okay.
haven't used WASI. So WASI, maybe we should explain briefly what it is.
Yes. Probably a good idea. Yeah.
When you have a program on your machine, usually what it can do is like if you're just using WebAssembly core, that is like the subsets that was released a few years ago, all you can do is call into imported functions, so your APIs basically provide functions that can be called to the outside world, and then do things on very simple types like integers and floats, and that's pretty much it. Then if you want to actually interact with the rest of your system, for instance, do something that is related to files or related to the network, like send a request somewhere on the internet, that can be useful these days. You have to implement that in APIs that will be imported by your WebAssembly module. And usually all the software that you have on like all the libraries, that they will assume that you have access to file systems, you have access to a clock to measure your time, that you have access to networking maybe. And so all of these APIs together form what we call a system interface, because they are, well, an interface to your operating system and allow you to do things. So WASI is an acronym for WebAssembly System Interface. It's like a set of APIs, and it has its own like standardization process and its own proposals to add more system interfaces that are available to WASI, so that if you actually compile your code, like your Rust code, say you have Rust code that you want to compile to WASM, well, in general, you don't have access to files. So if you do use the same WASI 32 unknown compile target, you don't have access to any system because it doesn't know what the system is. But you can decide to compile for WASM 32 WASI. And in that case, it will assume that all the file system access is done via WASI API method calls, and then you can just use files as if you had files. That's amazing. So basically, that means that you have a way to port existing software to WebAssembly using, assuming that the existing software, the existing libraries, have a port to WebAssembly WASI as well.
Yeah, and also like if people do watch the keynote by Luke Wagner, like they can see how like the component model extends this whole notion even further, like by providing like basically like customizable like drop-in replacements for some of these APIs.
Yeah, exactly.
I just realized we should probably log into our Matrix bot.
So not the Matrix bot, but your admin account, I would say.
Oh, on my admin account. Oh, good point. Well, that's easy because I'm already logged into there. I just need
And we probably want to start a conversation with the bot, though. But maybe it's not online yet, since we haven't connected. I don't know.
Oh yeah. So we should first launch the bot, I guess.
Yeah. If you run the Rust-log cargo run now, it should find the components, the module, sorry, that we just built, and it should not crash, probably.
Yes. And I'm gonna do it like this because we might actually want to run this in the background, right?
All right.
Ooh,
So
great
it's,
success.
yes, great
That's
success.
good. Setup ready.
Now
Now listening to
listening.
incoming messages. Sweet. Now just how do I not show people our private, very secret conversations from Matrix? Let me see. I can open just this. Oh wait, like can I just not open any room? Is it an option? No, it will just open. Ah, I see. We'll find out in mere moments if that's going to work. Okay, that'll do whatever. So I can just reopen it here. The proper self-hosting nerd, I of course have self-hosted matrix. No, I actually don't have self-hosted matrix. I have like matrix hosted matrix, custom matrix. We do actually self-host matrix for Rust chat, and Jan Eric has plenty. Like one of my colleagues, one of my friends who set that up and who is maintaining that server. Okay, that works for me as long as it doesn't show anything. So what you're saying is I should message Trinity? Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh no, that's the Trinity. Oh, okay. So I guess we should mention that there's a Trinity
A matrix channel, yes.
account. Matrix channel,
Yeah.
of course. But that's not the Trinity we need right now. But recent searches, public rooms. So I guess I search for
yes, that would be at Trinity.
At Rust chat.
Yeah.
What? Oh wait, what? Wait, I think a new server is this? Enter the name of the server you want to explore. That is the server name. Huh?
Or maybe you can actually start a new chat with a different
Oh, just message
with
it?
the plus. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that might work. Oh, okay. Maybe.
All right. And you should be able to say oh, let's see what's happened.
I'm very good at I spent a lot of time in the past week breaking our subordinate services. So I'm very good at breaking services with unexpected random things. So
nice.
if it didn't get no, it didn't. So what is that I should do?
So as you can see,
joined,
I think
so
that
that's good.
yeah, it joined the room, so that's good already. Now
Yeah,
you
it's
can
responding.
probably do exclamation mark, which is like the marker that I've used for all the comments. Help. And it should say something. Okay, so there is something that doesn't work.
Oh no. It successfully joined the room.
If you scroll up a bit, can we look at the logs to see if something went wrong?
Trace
Starting
debug.
initial sync. Because at least it should say that it's saw a message.
Yeah. That's weird. Why didn't maybe I did break it by
No, I don't think so. even that it should have said I've seen a message.
No, I mean it should ignore everything that doesn't start with with an exclamation mark, right? So
can you try to restart it just to see if that changes a thing?
Absolutely.
That's the demo effect. We should have tried it.
Always, yeah. Like I'm not even concerned. Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's fine. It joined the room, so something is working.
Exactly, yeah.
Listening to incoming messages.
Okay. And now if you try again.
Yeah. Oh. Help.
No, it doesn't say it still. Okay, so that's interesting.
But wait. My message? No, it was sent.
All right, we're going to try something else. We're going to display more logs and try to investigate that bug in real time.
Even more logs. Yeah, I mean, like, no,
oh, yes.
I'm a fan of logs. All right, this one. All right. So time to just trace everything.
Exactly, yes. We're
Oh,
going
boy.
to remove the Trinity equals, and like
Yeah.
that will display a gazillion
Like-
logs.
Okay. That's a lot of things. Page cache logger. Oh boy. I don't think.
Or maybe it was just handling stuff in the background. I don't know. Wow.
That is a lot of logs.
Oh, that is also cranlift displaying all the logs. Okay, so maybe we don't want to see the cranlift logs because that will take a lot of time
Yeah.
to watch them. Can you Control C?
Hopefully. Oh yeah. There might be a lot of logs
Lots
that
of
were
log.
buffered.
Yes.
So what I'm gonna do, FG enter Control C.
Maybe I can answer one question that is in the chat in the
Oh,
meanwhile.
cool. Please.
Yeah. So Monsieur Badia asks, well, first, excellent work. Thanks a lot. I don't know if you've already mentioned it, but do you plan to add other examples such as Go, AssemblyScript, Grain, Ruby, and so on? And that is a great question. And right now I'm limited by the number of languages that are supported by WIT-Bindgen, which is another Bytecode Alliance project. And that is the one that creates the glue and the bindings between the WebAssembly host, so Wasm in that case, and the WebAssembly plugins themselves, the WebAssembly modules. And as of today, I think that WIT-Bindgen is supported for C, Rust, and Java using the excellent project EVM, which is a way to compile Java code to WebAssembly. And in the future, there's going to be more implementations for more languages as the guest languages in WIT-Bindgen, but right now it's not there yet. But I think there is a PR open for having some kind of Go support. So Go will happen at some point in the future, yes. And for any other language, as soon as they support the component model, because now I'm using component, so component is not quite the same as just WebAssembly core modules. It's like WebAssembly core modules with some metadata and some embedded WebAssembly modules in there, as far as I know. So as soon as they support that and are supported by WIT-Bindgen, we can use those languages as well to write Trinity bot modules. Yeah. I'm also actually curious about removing the component support and just say, all right, we'll just use like core modules during some time until the component work stabilize a bit, because right now it's a bit experimental still. And if that's the case, then I guess it's much easier to actually bring support for other languages. So that can be something to explore, I guess. Yeah.
All right. What's our next approach to tracing? Because that was a bit too verbose.
Oh yeah. So we are going to just have the logs for matrix Rust SDK. So I guess that's Rust log equals matrix underscore Rust underscore SDK equals trace.
Can we do more than one? Yes. Or do we
And
not?
then, yeah, we can also put the Trinity logs, but we don't have so many equals trace. And yeah.
Oh, I should probably, whatever.
Welcome, Monsieur Badia.
I don't see. Was that underscore matrix Rust SDK?
I wonder if it's just dash instead of underscore. I don't know the specific rules when you need to use dash or underscore when there is dash in the crate name.
Yeah, could be.
I was correct.
I'm gonna also remove the at sign so it's easier.
Because it should spew a lot of logs.
Yeah.
That's
still not. All right, let's try matrix. Okay. Oh, maybe it's Matrix SDK or so? No.
Let me. Oh yeah, you're right. It's Matrix SDK. So
Oh, okay.
probably.
Let's try that. Is it with dashes? We'll find out.
Probably not.
No. Okay.
Tooling, it works.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. We have something. Okay, so now it's saying that it's listening. So let's see if we can send it a message.
Yeah. I mean, when a poor bot wakes up, like they're gonna see they're gonna think we got like abducted or like something like that. I want something happen. Process it synchron response.
Okay, yeah, so it is saying that it's nudging. The room key is missing. I
should have up this a little. Oh wow, that was a lot of stuff. Yeah, but it
yeah.
sync
So
the
it
callback.
seems that things are happening, but for some reason the messages are not being
Detected?
seen by the bot.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, I've got my own instance that's running with the latest version of the code, so you could like talk with it. Won't
Oh,
have
well, could
admin
it be
access.
that this is some later? Oh, that was just probably a sync. Could this be like a recent change or something that makes it not work? Do you think?
I wouldn't expect it, but
Okay. So like I was more like, can I just check out like a different like version and like try to compile that and like
usually in Rust, the precise version of the software is embedded in the cargo.log file. So we're using the exact same dependencies. So it's kind of reproducible. Well,
okay.
unless there's been like a patch versions
Okay,
that have
cool.
been published, but that shouldn't have an
Okay.
impact.
That's really weird why it doesn't work. But like, yeah, that is absolutely the demo effect. I think, I mean, I guess we learned a bunch anyway. So, and we are really over time. I mean, if you feel like that you want to show us like how it looks like working, you could share your screen and like.
Oh, actually, you can start a conversation with the bot yourself if you want to.
Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, but I'm not an admin. Will that still work?
I can make you an admin temporarily. So,
infinite power. Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
all right.
Let me know who to ping.
Let's see. All right. Should be set up. So I think I'm using an account that is called actually JS because that was the only thing that it supported back in the days.
Oh, that one? On Delivery Party?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Go. Maybe go listen to our hapless pleas. Oh boy.
It's actually okay. So it's might be an issue with your account because
maybe
it works for
comment
me.
itself. What is there any other comments?
Yeah, you can try exclamation mark pun, which is one module that will query a pun. No pun, like play up words.
Oh, pun. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not seeing the messages here as well. So there's probably something related to like
to my account,
encrypted devices on your account. Maybe I don't know. So I'm happy to share my screen if people want.
Oh wait, like yeah, that could be a thing, right? Like if I have some unconfirmed logins, and so it doesn't want to talk to me until I confirm that. Wait, let's see if I can. I should be able to do that on stream. Like there shouldn't be a problem about that. All right, let me see. Security and privacy. Verified devices. This device. It is verified. Oh, what? That doesn't even work. 90+ days. Okay. All the rest is verified. So now how do we? Can I leave this and start a new? Oh, we'll find out. Room settings.
Oh, I realized the room that I'm using is not encrypted, so maybe
Ah.
there is some support for encryption that is not here or something. I don't know.
Let's try. I don't know how to start an unencrypted room. I mean, I guess I will have to start like it specifically. Let's see if that helps. Live debugging.
That's the best.
Help.
Yeah, so it's not seeing the messages, so it's not
Yeah.
receiving the messages for some reason. Very weird.
So I need to create a room that is unencrypted. Let's try that.
Oh, do you want me to share my screen?
Sure. Remove from stream. Yeah, you can share.
Present.
Yeah, can your room.
Let's see. Oh, now it worked.
Yep, it's the encryption.
Okay. All right.
It seems
That's
like it's the encryption. Wait. How do I? That's a stream.
So
I created an unencrypted room. And
I'm just going
seems
to restart it very quickly so that you are the admin again.
I'm sorry?
I'm just going to restart it and make you the admin again.
Okay. I can also, I guess at this point, I can also invite our bot. Where is our bot? Room info. Invite to this room. Trinity. Invite.
Oh yeah, now both bots will run, I guess. Yep. That's it.
Yeah.
So there's one thing to know about this module. It's that it will like just fetch a quote from the internet and like a joke from the internet and return it. And sometimes it has happened in the past that the joke was offensive. So you can actually do harm with the bot if you're not like paying attention.
I mean, that's like everything, every tool can be used for bad and good, and
exactly,
we
yeah.
know how to use them. Yeah,
I've
but we
just
are
shut
running.
down Host.js so that only Trinity will now answer your messages. So yeah, you can run like help as well, and you'll see the modules.
Oh wait.
So I guess the one that is the most useful right now is the one that will actually send messages to Mastodon. So you can actually send messages to Mastodon directly from a matrix room.
Ooh. Let me restart our bot with like a tiny bit less cruft in the logs so we can see what's happening better. Do you already have that the Mastodon integration?
Yeah, so for that, of course, we need some kind of token, API token for Mastodon as well, that gives you the ability to post statuses. So
how do I set that up for the?
you need
Do I
to
have
go
to
to
put it into the
your
module
Mastodon
when I compile?
instance and then create that token, and then yes, we will feed the bot with the token. So be careful with it. Again, the token will be visible to everyone, I guess, watching.
Okay. No, I mean, I have my own server, so it's fine. I can create. I actually explicitly have an account that is a bot account. Like, let me manage containers, social. Oh no, not this one. Testing. And I can just log in with that account and generate a new API key. And so go into settings. Yeah, this is on a second screen, so just bear with me until I do that. We need an API key development, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Application.
And then it will ask you for which permissions you want to give it. And there's only one that is interesting. It's like the write statuses permission, I think it's called.
Yeah, I actually removed everything else as well. So
yeah.
But also write only posts, right? It doesn't have to write access everything.
Exactly, yeah. Just
Query
post.
notifications, write reports, write statuses is basically what we need, right?
Yep.
Follows, conversations. No, none of those stuff. Just write statuses. Submit. Okay. And here's our bot, and your X token is here.
All right. Now we are going to ask Mastodon how to administrate it. So
Help.
Help Mastodon.
Oh, interesting.
And then it basically, mine is still running. That's better. Now you can ask, like it tells you there's an help topic called admin. So we can try that, Mastodon admin. Oh, I think it's one typo.
Yeah. Help Mastodon admin. Nice. Room ID base URL token.
All right, so that's, yeah. And now the way it works is that you will use exclamation mark admin. There is the name of the module, so Mastodon. And then the admin command that it explained above, so set -config. And I made it so today that the configuration for the Mastodon module is actually per room. So you can say in that room, when I use the command, I can do it from this specific account. But when I'm in that other room, I want to do it from another account. Because I actually have that use case. So now
nice. This is all interested inside the module, right? Not inside, like the server is the same. This is just Mastodon module is like you implemented this functionality in.
Exactly, yeah. And now it
do
needs,
we need the room ID or something?
Yeah, the room ID. So when your room has an alias that is like nice to read, like for instance, boat room column flag.is, it can use that. But otherwise, you can also use the unique identifier that is provided by Matrix. You can actually see it in the URL.
I'm totally just going to use that because I can
that
just copy
works
paste it
as well. Yep.
So our bot is logging that they are receiving messages from this channel. Oh wait, yeah, that's the in this channel. So this is the unique identifier that Matrix uses. The cool thing about these is like I created this room on my server, but because now I have like Benjamin's server delivery party in this room as well, that means that the room is federated, that room is synced between these two servers. And so even if my server would die, like would go down, like the river, the room would still be available to people because it still exists simultaneously, the same room on their server. So I don't own the server. I'm sorry, I do own the server. I don't own the room itself. I just created the room. I'm the admin inside the room because I created it. But like the room is federated and like usable across all these services. So even if like my server were to go down, like the room continue to exist. And the reason for that is like because this identifier can be found by other services as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so what's base URL though?
So it's the base. Oh yeah, it's a good question. I should probably improve the documentation. It's the base URL of the Mastodon instance.
I mean, didn't you push this like 5 minutes before we went live? So I think
Exactly.
that's fine.
Yeah. So it's like bleeding edge, I would say.
Yeah. All right. Let's try to get this working, and then we'll worry about like the documentation because we are very much like. I don't want to waste anybody's time, including our viewers and yours. So what's okay? So what's base URL?
So it's like, for instance, your Mastodon instance. If it's a mastodon.social, you would put https://mastodon.social. Just the
Okay.
URL of your Mastodon instance.
Okay, so that's gonna be flocky.social.
Okay.
Do I need a slash
then
again? Yeah, probably. Right.
You can put it or not put it as you see
Okay,
fit.
that's fine.
I handle it in the code.
You will parse it. Cool.
And
And
then the token. Yeah.
There we go.
All right. And it say added. So
Oh,
things
cool.
have worked. So basically what it did right now is pass the command, separate all the different things. Well, to be like totally complete, I would say. First, it noticed that it was an admin command for the Mastodon module, so it redirected that and called into the admin entry point of the Mastodon module. And then the
Oh,
Mastodon module, what
probably
it
show
sees
it,
is
right?
something like, yeah, we can actually look at the code.
Yeah. I just close this. Yes. Yeah.
And
So handle
like
messages, and there should be a handle admin. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. And what it sees is the directly set config, etc., etc. And
Sweet.
so
And like I saw you using like was it RDB or something like REDB, something like that,
yeah,
like a
for
storage
the
to
key
store
value
like
stores.
configuration.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's a
So
very
basically
good.
like SQLite, right? Like in the same sense.
Yeah, so it's a key value store. So basically, you have like all you can do is I have got a key and I want to store a value, and these can be arbitrary bytes. So
Mhm.
that's pretty cool. And then you don't have
Yeah, I
like
saw that
fancy
there was
requests.
like a path
Yeah,
for like the file that so it just serializes those values and persists them to disk so that you don't lose the state.
exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
across restart, you will still have access to the state. So now
Sweet.
that you've configured it once, you don't need to configure it anymore.
Yeah, really
Next
cool.
time you restart the bot on the or the matrix server. And
Yeah, it's
then
really nice because it's self-contained. You don't need, to register like a database or like run a database in Docker or whatever to be able to use the app. You don't need it. Like it's just all inside the app. Like
oh yeah,
that's
and that's one of
that
the
explains
big
why you
benefits
needed
of
to compile half of the Rust ecosystem.
exactly, yes. So there's the database
Too
that is
cozy.
embedded in the software, but
Yeah.
then at the end of the day, you just get one binary that you use and can deploy on your server
Yep.
to
Yep.
just start one binary. And
Yep.
it's like very easy, like just copy
Really
it,
nice.
push it, and that's it. With the Wasm
Sweet.
modules, and
All right. How do we
that's enough.
toot? I saw
Oh yeah,
what was it? Like that was help Mastodon toot.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You
Pretty
get it.
straightforward.
Yeah.
Toot welcome uh hello from the Trinity live stream by Flocky at flock is and then wait bng bvr underscore en
Right.
at tut, what was it?
DUT,
No, Dillery.
UT, yeah.
Yeah, party.
Um,
Do that, right?
oh yeah, it might not do the mentions. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Oh, we'll find out. Hello from the Trinity live stream.
And now
Yeah.
crossing fingers really hard.
Yeah, I know.
Great success.
Great success. We'll find out soon. Mastodon returned a response.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's see what happened. So Twitter, not Twitter, Flocky Social, burp site. So this is. Oh, it is there, and it did not do dimensions. That's correct. Why did it not do dimensions?
Probably it's some metadata that the client must add to notify that it's a mention starting from this segment to this segment of text, etc.
That's
I don't
weird.
know, maybe something like that.
No, but like, yeah, that's all right. I mean, yeah, it's right there.
It's good enough. Yeah, it works.
No,
so
I
you
mean,
can
good enough
basically
for
post
pushing it 5 minutes before the stream. No, that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, like, that's pretty much it. Like, you could do anything. You could just like
yeah.
write any sort of integration that your heart desires, and you could just you don't have to write the Mastodon integration. Now you can just take Benjamin's Mastodon integration and like customize it to what you want it to do. Maybe you want
Totally,
yours to properly tag mentions or whatever, or post screenshots of, or like, generated images of like your server load or whatever. You could just do it.
That's right.
Really sweet. Yeah, we were super out of time. I'm gonna ask Ramon like if there was any questions that we might have missed. I don't think so. Oh yeah, yeah. I don't think there's any questions. If folks want to, I guess all the links are there. So follow the project on GitHub, I guess. And you can also follow Benjamin on the Mastodon address there. So I guess that's like Blu-ray party slash.
It may be on a subdomain. Yeah.
Oh yeah, was it social?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
social.
no. It's
yeah, right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
There's like a button with the toot.
Wait, yeah, was it
word
toot
that was used
like
in
this?
place of publish.
Or one
Single T in the middle, and then you're correct. Yes.
Cool. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I guess you can reach Benjamin on that address and me at flocky.social/flocky. Anything else that you wanted to add? Anything else? Are you looking for contributors? Anybody interested?
Yeah, so if you got excited by the development of bot modules for Matrix in Rust, well, you can come over and contribute. Like, we have ideas. There are like many things that I would like to have in the future as well. Like if you go really much into the direction of moonshots, really our modules don't have to know that they are posting to Matrix, right? In theory, they're just receiving messages and sending back messages. So we could make it much more generic and have it work for Slack, Discord, IRC, whatever you want. And so you actually write your bot module once and have it run everywhere. And that would be kind of amazing. Put a moonshot at this point, and I don't plan to do it myself, but if other people are interested, that would be fantastic to have. And
this
also,
is absolutely something we are exploring for Suborbital, because that's exactly what you would also want. Like, you post this thing to Discord or whatever. Is like, is definitely a thing. So yeah, absolutely. I think there is definitely like things to be done there by the community and the ecosystem, and like collaborate on.
Yeah. So, and if you want like to pocket the code and try different things, feel free to come over on the GitHub or on the Matrix Room channel, and
Oh yeah, we
yeah,
should
and chat
probably.
about this.
Is that also here? Hopefully, it's.
I think
here.
I put it at the top as part of a small label, like
Oh yeah, there it goes. Yeah.
Matrix John Chat.
Yeah. I'll just copy that into the link. Copy link. Yes. Yeah. Thank
And
you so
that's
much
it
for joining
having
us, and thank you so much for this wonderful thing. I'm gonna be filing issues deliriously for all the things that we
Sweet.
discovered,
Please do.
and I'm actually really looking forward to like exploring, like implementing JavaScript for like creating modules and like taking this further, because this is super cool,
Yeah,
and I'm
I would love
super
that.
super glad that you took a whole weekend out of your life to get this started, and you let yourself be nerd sniped.
Exactly.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining.
Thanks for having me. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you all everybody for joining us as well. Just there we go. Yeah, so thank you everybody. Thank you again, Benjamin. And we planning to do more live streams in the coming months. So if this was fun and you liked it, also join our Discord channel for Suborbital, or follow us on Twitter, or follow me on Mastodon to get notified when we have other stuff upcoming. So yeah, I guess with that, thank you so much for joining us today, and see you for the next one. Bye.